Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, Capital Markets Analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're going to take a look at the top 10 cannabis news stories of the week. To do that is Shea Gunther. He's with MJ Today Daily. Is that right? Did I get that right?
You did.
Awesome. All right, so jumping into number 10, Champion Brands is turning magic mushrooms into medicine. So I think that's still a penny stock that's skyrocketing. 5 digits ending in F. May or may not be DTC eligible. So the Depository Trust and Clearing Corp is what essentially allows you to buy and sell stocks online. But being a penny stock, I don't know if they're going to charge an extra fee. So if they're not DTC eligible, it's an extra $75 on the buy and sell. So make sure you check. Shay, you got anything else to add to Champion Brands? I know it's kind of hot news with magic mushroom, psilocybin, and that whole industry.
No, I mean, I think the space, the space is, just super interesting, and we're going to see a lot of development, out of the world of therapeutic psychedelics and legalizing that. But I don't have too much to share on this particular one.
All right, well, let's dive into number 9 then. Hollister Biosciences, serious bargain compared to its overvalued peers. So I don't know too much about Hollister Biosciences. It's also 5 digits ending in F, but apparently it's on a roll. Giving the company attention to rightfully deserves, blah, blah, blah. So it went up 212%. I'm guessing it's a penny stock, and that really, it's hard to gauge how secure it is if, I don't know. That kind of reads more like an advertisement than anything else. All right, so I'm going to jump to number 8 then. Aurora Cannabis falls after its announcement for a 12-to-1 reverse stock split. So this is interesting because Aurora was going to lose its ability to stay on the big board exchange. So once you drop below $3, you're considered a penny stock. So I think in order to get back up to $11 or $12, this reverse stock split was a way to stay on the publicly traded exchanges. But being at 80 cents, I think they were like 95% down from their all-time high. But shares of Aurora plummeted after the announcements of its $350 million stock offering and board approved 1-for-12 reverse stock split. So I don't know. My crystal ball says that short sellers are going to have a heyday, and this will end up back at 80 cents all over again after that split's over.
It speaks to, I guess, the tumultuousness of the Canadian market and how big these companies got, how they built out all these expensive infrastructure, and they maybe found that the market wasn't there. They're not selling as much, and a lot of heel dragging on the part of Canadian lawmakers has really kind of delayed the rollout. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if that price is going to get so low that they end up being a hostile takeover bid. If they get back down to 80 cents again, there may be some kind of hostile purchase or an M&A or something. A lot of these LPs up in Canada have like a $1.74 break-even point. So I think the U.S. is going to crush that. That's why a lot of them are moving outdoors, is probably because they realize that $1.74 is going to break pretty soon.
Easy money is gone.
Mm-hmm. True that. All right, number 7. So under the radar cannabis stock is actually profitable. So this is reading like another pay to play, but we'll give it a sort of entertainment here. So the majority of pot stocks are continuing huge losses, but the top ancillary firm, GrowGeneration, has quietly built one of the cannabis industry's few profitable companies. So I don't know. I don't have anything to add to that.
Oh, good for him.
Right? Yeah, it kind of seems like it got in there somehow. All right, number 6, Canopy Growth cuts back global operations. They closed Canadian facility. They're laying off 85 people. So they announced a global operation changes intended to improve production, balance supply and demand, and enhance overall efficiencies. And this is bottom line, man. This is about saving money. This is about not having as much of a burn rate. If people aren't buying as much, then they're going to cut back. If they wanted to save money, they would have continued their operations in Latin America. It's cheaper for Latin America to grow and silo it or process it in oil, whatever they need to do. Makes absolutely no sense to continue to cultivate and manufacture in Canada. So laying off people in Latin America and globally, to me, is a red flag that their cash burn is too high and they're just trying to stay in business.
Yeah, well, hopefully, we all exit this more efficient.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the idea. Exit more efficient and start generating more revenue, more profitability. Number 5 on this list is that the CEO of Hollister Biosciences and Venom Extracts, they discuss a transformational cannabis merger. So as I kind of expected, there's going to be a lot more M&As, whether that's capitulation or um, something that uh, businesses want, right? So with the hostile takeover, that's going to be different than a board-approved M&A. But this deal between Venom Deal and Hollister Brands is expanding its footprint across multiple U.S. states. So looks like that's at least one positive M&A. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more mergers, and eventually a fourth quarter pop is there's not going to be as many companies out in business is what I'm trying to say. There's going to be a fourth quarter pop because of the consolidation.
Yeah, I mean, the number of deals overall is just way down, so it's good to just have at least something.
Yeah, last thing I saw, there was only 4 M&As versus 14 same period last year, so considerably lower. All right, number 4 on this list is a former Red Bull Canada president joins Champion Brands Special Advisory Committee. So that's interesting. I'm also working with a previous Red Bull executive on a company called Taboo, working on some face masks and transdermal patches and medicated Band-Aids. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more holistic products take off. I think we reported on the other podcast about CBD, so Morrison Coors and CBD out of Colorado. So if that beverage goes big, it's going to change the game for sure. So energy drinks with CBD, I don't know.
I could see that absolutely sold in. I mean, yeah, you can sell those in gas stations.
Mm-hmm. I mean, number 3, the most profitable pot stock bordering on fraud. So a new short report claims that IIPR isn't what it seems. That's Innovative Industrial Properties. They're a real estate investment trust or a REIT. So recently, Short Sellers released a 36-page report highlighting the many ways it believes that Innovative Industrial Properties is worse than WeWork. So the primary report has acquired a low-quality portfolio of assets in 2 respects. So I've been a little cautious about IIPR because as commercial real estate is not getting the rents, you're seeing a lot more reports about people not paying rent. Commercial real estate's the highest it's ever been. So really it just is going to take a 1% downturn in order for these real estate investment trusts to start feeling some of that stress in the market. So I would be very cautious about IIPR. I think with WeWork being a freaking absolute disaster, it's just a matter of time before that catches up to just about everybody and prices start coming down.
I see IRPR in headlines lots of that, so they definitely are paying their investor relations and PR people well. But yeah, I don't know too much there to share.
Well, we've got this CBD drink, Morrison Coors and Hexco, the joint venture to make CBD drinks in Colorado. That's definitely going to be changing the game, in my opinion. So they've agreed to have this joint venture, and with the budget they've got, they're going to take out so many mom and pops. That's going to be, a game changer.
Yeah, CBD beverages are definitely going to be a big market, and it's they don't. I think CBD beverages have or don't have some of the problems that THC beverages do, just in terms of just the feeling effects and time of onset and stuff like that. So if Molson Coors is putting their money behind it, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to sell.
Yeah, having a higher return on assets as well, because you only need one set of property, plant, and equipment, since you can export or have cross border over states and countries, right? So it's a lot more profitable in that respects. All right, well, that leads us to the number 1 story of the week, where Afria posts a $5.7 million in net income for the third quarter, but withdraws its annual guidance. So their revenue of 144 million is up 96% over the same quarter last year. At the end of third quarter, they had 515 million in cash or cash equivalents. So that's not a whole lot, as a huge publicly traded company. If your burn rate is too high, then You can see that dwindle within a year and a half. So that's probably why a lot of these companies are pulling way back and restructuring deals. But 5.7 million in net income for one quarter is not a lot. You see a lot of producers in Washington State generate that in 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, I guess my view on this is just a bit colored by having to report on so many financial results that are just huge losses. So anytime I see anything that's not in parentheses, a number in parentheses, it's I'm brightened by that at least. So yeah, but you're right. But still, it's positive.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that wraps up our top 10 cannabis news stories of the week. I want to thank my guest, Shea Gunther. Shea, state your name, who you're with, and how people can reach you.
Yeah, so I'm Shea Gunther, and I produce the Marijuana Today Daily podcast, which you can find at mjtodaydaily.com. And we also make a weekly podcast called Marijuana Today that can be found at MJ Today Podcast. And both are good shows, and you'll learn a lot. So check them out.
And we'll put those links in the show notes. I want to thank my guest, Shea. Thank you for being on the podcast, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been great.
I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.